December 9, 1962, year of the Second Vatican Council. St. Peter's Square welcomes the faithful who come from all parts of the world to assist at the canonization of the saints of the Eucharist. The first to arrive are the religious of the congregation founded by the saint. They greet this day as one of the most important in their history. Among the crowd ascending joyfully to the basilica, there are the priest adorers, seminarians of every nation, and the servants of the Blessed Sacrament who have also come to venerate their saintly founder. Besides, there are over 1,000 bishops who have postponed their departure after the close of the first session of the council so that they might assist at this solemn function. Never in the history of the Church has a canonization witnessed so great a gathering of prelates. The camera catches the arrival of the General of the Congregation of the Blessed Sacrament with the members of his council. We see in the center of the banner Peter Julian Eymard, smiling upon his sons from the height of his glory. The Sistine Choir intones the hymn Tu es Petrus to greet the arrival of Pope John the 23rd, the Pope of Goodness, who is making his way to the throne of Peter, from which he will raise to the glory of the altar the three new saints. All united in a common joy, we see gathered in the tribunals flanking the papal throne the superiors of the orders and of the religious congregation to which the three who will very shortly be proclaimed saints belong. Having put on the papal vestments, the Holy Father receives the homage of the cardinals. The ceremony begins by the request of the prefect of the Congregation of Rites, who asks that the three religious already inscribed in the catalogue of the blessed might now be proclaimed saints. It is the secretary of the briefs who answers in the Pope's name.
Alam profiteri jubeor, eidem admodum cordi esse, beatos ecelites, quorum vos alacriter causam suscepistis, in sanctorum albo ascribere. Etenim, ut omnibus compertum est, multi nostre uius etatis homines, ita terrenis iniant, ut iam in iis non acquiescant, quetum recta ratio tum communis justitia probant, sed ea querant et appetant, que sive divina iura, sive humana vetant.
The request is granted. We may now proceed with the rite of the canonization. But the Holy Father, before speaking ex cathedra, kneels down to invoke the Holy Spirit.
Veni Creator Spiritus.
By these words, proclaimed from the throne of Peter, Father Eymard is declared a saint.
Ad honorem Sancte et individuo Trinitatis, ad exaltationem fidei Catholicae et Christianae religionis augmentum, auctoritate Domini nostri Iesu Christi, Beatorum Apostolorum Petri et Pauli ac nostra, Beatus Petrum Julianum eymard, Antonium Mariam Pucci et Franciscum a Campo Rubeo, confessores, santos esse decernimus, ac definimus, ac santorum catalogo ascribimus.
The lawyers of the consistory who have promoted the cause of canonization are the first to come to the throne to thank His Holiness for the favor granted. The Te Deum which the Holy Father intones unites all the faithful and the whole Church in a hymn of joy and thanks. A procession has begun. It ascends the central nave to come and present to the Holy Father the traditional offerings, candles, some bread, wine and living doves, simple gifts, but a token expressive of the homage and gratitude of the religious belonging to the families of the saints just canonized. At the close of the celebration, John the 23rd exalts the virtues of the new saints.
À côté d'un Vincent de Paul, d'un Saint Jean Eudes, d'un curé d'Ars, Pierre-Julien Eymard prend place aujourd'hui dans la phalange de ces astres splendidissants qui sont la gloire et l'honneur incomparables du pays qui les a vus naître, mais dont la bienfaisante influence s'exerce bien au-delà dans l'Église tout entière.
The papal blessing concludes the solemn ceremony.
Santorum Apostolorum Petri et Pauli, Petri, Antoni et Francisci, et omnium Santorum, misereatur vestri omnipotens Deus, et dimissis peccatis vestris, perducat a vos ad vitam aeternam. Indulgentiam, absolutionem et remissionem peccatorum vestrorum, tribuat vobis omnipotens et misericors Dominus. Amen. Et benedictio Dei omnipotentis, Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti, descendat super vos, et maniat semper.
A large crowd, unable to find room inside the basilica to assist at the canonization, nevertheless joins in the applause of the more fortunate ones who have found a place inside. In the light of this glory, the salient moments of the life of St. Julian Eymard take on an exemplary value for the whole of Christianity. Our saint was born in France, at La Mure, in the prefecture of Isère, on the 4th of February, 1811. And was baptized the following day in the parish church under the names of Peter and Julian. In Broye Street, the house of his birth still stands. It is here that the young Eymard passed his childhood, already devoted to the Eucharist and to Calvary. To prepare himself worthily for his first Holy Communion, he made a pilgrimage to the sanctuary of Notre-Dame-du-Lot, and this on foot, a distance of some 50 miles. From this first meeting with Our Lady was born his priestly vocation. But before being able to definitely consecrate himself to God, he had to overcome much opposition and many obstacles of every kind. He studied theology at the major seminary at Grenoble and was ordained priest on the 20th of July, 1834. Celebrated his first Mass at the sanctuary of Notre-Dame-de-Lozier to thank the Blessed Mother for helping and protecting him during his years of preparation for the priesthood. His first duty as a priest was that of assistant in the parish of Chartres. One day, as he was praying at the Calvary of Saint-Romain, our Lord gave him a very special grace, that of realizing deeply the divine love. He was then named pastor of Monténard, and from this duty he was relieved after only 2 years to follow God's calling to a more perfect state of life. To his sister, who wished to keep him with her one more day, the saint answered, "God is calling me today. Tomorrow, it will be too late." He went to Lyon and became a Marist. He lived as a Marist for 17 years, during which time he was entrusted with many important duties. had other plans for him. One day, while in prayer before a statue of Our Lady in the sanctuary of Fourvière, he was overwhelmed with the thought that God was not sufficiently glorified in the Eucharist. Then and there, he promised Our Lady that he would become an apostle of the Christ in the Eucharist. He made his way to Paris, and in one of its suburbs, in a poor little chapel, he founded the Congregation of the Blessed Sacrament on January the 6th, 1857. At Marseille, at the foot of that statue, it is he who invoked Our Lady under the title of Our Lady of the Most Blessed Sacrament. The first houses are founded: Angers, Brussels, Saint-Maurice. With the help of Mother Marguerite Guillot, he began the female branch of his work, the Servants of the Blessed Sacrament. His great devotion to Our Lady urged him many a time to go on a pilgrimage to the sanctuaries of Lourdes, Lauzier, and Our Lady of La Salette. There he found the comfort and the strength needed to accomplish his mission. His great friendship for the saintly Curé d'Ars, whom he often visited, was also a great source of help to him. In the midst of the solitude and the peace of the Château Saint-Bonnet, he wrote the rule of his institute. Three times he came to Rome to visit Pope Pius IX to obtain his benediction and approbation for the institute. He was born at Namur, and there he died at the age of 57. It is before this crucifix that he breathed his last. For a few years his body rested in the cemetery, in the shadow of the parish church, in this grave which perpetuates his memory. After his death, the Congregation of the Blessed Sacrament spread rapidly through the whole world. On 5 continents, monasteries were erected where the life of adoration and of Eucharistic apostolate, such as proposed by the rule of the founder, found its development. Eucharistic thrones were multiplied. In Paris, in Rome, Bolzano, Hommerborn in Germany, Freiburg, Switzerland, Nijmegen, Holland, Brussels, Belgium, Tolosa, Spain, then came America, Montreal, New York, and then Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Argentina, Buenos Aires, and finally Lorenzo Marquez in Mozambique, Manila in the Philippines, and Melbourne in Australia. The Servants of the Blessed Sacrament, also founded by Saint Eymard, spread throughout the world. At the same time, the other Eucharistic works, so dear to the heart of the saint, took root. The Association of Priest Adorers, that of Eucharistic Congresses, which has given a new spark to the devotion of the Blessed Sacrament in all countries, and finally the People's Eucharistic League, which gives people a chance to participate in the life of adoration. Rome wanted to be the first to honor the saint of the Eucharist by a solemn Triduum in the Church of the General Curia of the Blessed Sacrament Fathers. It is Monsignor Fougera, Bishop of Grenoble, the Diocese of the Saint, who had the honor of presiding at the opening ceremony. Assisting at the opening of the Triduum is a group of Marist bishops, also representatives of the servants of the Blessed Sacrament, the Ambassador of Canada, and the Ambassador of France, along with His Eminence, Cardinal Julianus. It is His Eminence Cardinal Aloisi Mazella, protector of the congregation and promoter of the cause of canonization, who celebrated the solemn Mass on the second day of the Triduum. Religious of the congregation, faithful of Rome, pilgrims who have come especially for the canonization, unite their prayers to venerate the saintly founder. His Eminence Cardinal Luigi Traglia, Pro-Vicar of the Pope in Rome, has come to the Church of the Fathers of the Blessed Sacrament to give benediction. In the hearts of all are re-echoed these famous words of the saint: "You have the Eucharist. What more do you want?" Among the pilgrims assisting at the Triduum, we must make special mention of Mrs. Maria Dora Cristina Bartels, who has come from Australia to give homage to the saint who has cured her miraculously. The Church has also recognized as miraculous the cure of the French priest Eugène Verdier. His Excellency Bishop Cunial of the Roman Vicariate celebrated the Mass. It is the last day of the Triduum. His Eminence Cardinal Laraona, Prefect of the Congregation of Rites, ascends the altar to intone the solemn Te Deum of thanksgiving, with which we wish to thank God for having exalted before men the person of St. Peter Julian Eymard. God has chosen Father Eymard to accomplish in the world an important mission, that of opening the tabernacles, of bringing the crowds of faithful to Jesus in His sacrament, and of renewing their faith in the real presence. Jesus is there, St. Peter Julian used to say. Therefore let us all go to him. Because he was faithful to his mission, today the Church invokes Peter Julian Eymard.